the heart and soul behind every business. Stories. Welcome to Business Story of the Week, hosted by me, Joshua Laurie. From setbacks to comebacks, from tragedies to triumphs, we inspire entrepreneurs through conversations that matter. Witness the magic that turns dreams into reality. Whether it's your career, business, or life, your success is always one story away. This is Business Story of the Week. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Business Story of the Week. I'm your host, Joshua. And today's question is we're going a little bit left field. Today's question is how can kindness change the way we see and understand autism? Well, today is again this is it's quite the unique topic because we have a great, unique man to answer that question as well. Today, Kaden McElwain is an autistic college student, writer, and activist who believes everyone deserves kindness. Throughout his life, he was told he wouldn't amount to anything because he had autism. But time and again, he proved the naysayers wrong. Now he's on a mission to raise as much awareness about autism as possible. And today, he is sharing his experience and raising that awareness in this episode with us. Kaden, I'm excited for you to have you on the show. How are you doing? Thank you for being here.
Of course, thanks for having me. I'm doing very well today.
Kaden, it's quite the journey you've been on, and of course, it hasn't been easy, it hasn't been challenging, but I want to dig deep into what led you to today, to being here with us. And, are you able to share a bit of your journey from the very beginning that inspired you to become an activist and raise awareness surrounding autism?
Well, the way we connected was through Facebook. I do a lot
Mm-hmm.
of networking to get on these platforms, which is
Mm-hmm.
key to the field I want to get into, which is
Mm-hmm.
PR, which activism, quite frankly, is also a part of. But in the
Yes,
sense
yes.
of my journey, I was 2 years old, just diagnosed with autism,
Okay.
and the doctor said, "Don't expect college for him. Don't expect it
Whoa.
at all. Expect trade school for him and for him to be in a group home for the rest of his life." And my parents, they weren't going to have that. So they invested
Wow.
so much time and energy
Wow.
into me: occupational therapy, physical therapy, ABA therapy,
Wow.
basically the whole 9 yards. Elementary school went fine, and socially, was pretty popular. People had respect for me, somewhat. There were probably a few who didn't, but that's just life. There's always going to be those types of people in the
Mm-hmm.
world. But middle school and high school, those were nightmares of bullying and discrimination, of questioning
Of
my
course. Of course.
capabilities. To be
Of
fair, we've
course.
all had those experiences in
Mm-hmm.
middle and high school, but add someone who's neurodivergent or high functioning autism into the mix, and it's 10 times worse because they
Yes.
misunderstand certain social situations,
Mm-hmm.
if you will, and I've had my
Mm-hmm.
fair share of those. One story I have particularly involved my IEP in middle school being cut off
Okay.
without my parents' knowledge or consent, which is
Okay.
illegal here in the States. So I'm not sure which country you're in, but
Mm-hmm.
here in the
Mm-hmm.
States, schools aren't allowed to do that without
Right.
parental consent. And when my parents asked at the IEP meeting, they said, "Sorry, we can't tell he has autism. Put him in a
Mm.
robotics camp. He's too smart."
No.
Yeah,
No. No.
looking back at it now, I think, here's the thing. I don't think you get how autism works, school. Let me give you a breakdown.
Okay.
Yes, we do well academically if we're high
Mm-hmm.
functioning. We have
Mm-hmm.
hyperfixations and certain skills in certain things, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
Rain Man, but a bit more complicated than that.
Okay. Okay.
But we just need help with social stuff and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. And my parents, they weren't going to have that. They knew I needed that IP. So they wrote to every single autism organization in
Okay.
Tennessee,
Okay.
and they threw in a state senator as well to help
Whoa.
me get that back. Which it ended up happening, and I'm grateful for them for
Wow.
that. They've been my biggest supporters, my
Wow.
parents. Then COVID happened my junior year of high
Okay.
and everything was online, which I despised at first. But the more I got into online school, the
Hmm.
more I learned I could concentrate better thanks to not having to deal with the social
There you
aspects of
go.
it.
There you go.
So,
Hmm.
thanks to that, I ended up graduating early on Valentine's Day of 2022.
Okay.
I worked two jobs until I got into college my freshman year, and this is where my advocacy journey began. It
Wow.
started with a class project I did for my freshman year of college. The assignment was to think of a way to help the community and act upon it. So my group and I set up a GoFundMe for the Autism Society of America with a goal of $1,000. We raised 1,085, and we got the first prize in the contest that the school was having for those projects. And one thing I noticed was, as typical with my generation, I'm 19,
Hmm.
about to be 20 as of next week at the time of this recording.
Hmm.
The TikTok generation, as I like to call my generation,
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
group didn't take it seriously enough. They were only in it to get the grade, the brownie points,
Right,
and
of course.
prize money we got for winning the contest. They
Yes.
didn't help at all with promotional stuff. I ended up losing a full night of sleep over it because I believed in that project a lot. I mean, it was worth it, but I know between that and noticing how autism isn't necessarily a mainstream issue, if you will, it's come
Hmm.
to my attention recently that there are some bills passed, but I think we got a lot of work to do.
Of
I
course.
thought, hey, if no one else is acknowledging this, I might as well be it. I see negativity in the world, therefore, I want to fix those mistakes society made in the past. So
Okay.
that class project led to all kinds of opportunities for me, especially this year.
Right.
Media appearances, hamming it up with politicians to discuss autism awareness, and fundraisers. Basically, you name it, I've probably done it. And I don't see any signs of me slowing down anytime soon.
Right. Okay. A lot to unravel there, Kaden. It's quite the journey you've been into, and it's calling it difficult is an understatement, right? First off, you're high functioning, which is, of course, congratulations to you. But of course, sometimes there's a part of it that makes it easier, but another part that actually feels like it made it harder because it's either people use that as a reason to not understand you, but also at the same time, just because there's no awareness, it people don't understand you. People see you differently. Um, because you're high functioning, right? So the difficulties, like you said, is like ask anyone within the spectrum, and they'll understand that it's 10 times more difficult. Like you said, high school is bad enough as it is. It becomes a nightmare if you are in the spectrum, and it doesn't help that the like you said, people in your generation, the TikTok generation, aren't even as aware, and you'd want to be able to turn to people to have support. And when that happened, I feel like you were brave. I mean, you were just brave all throughout and up to this point where you say, you know what, I'll do it myself. It's because it's it's very difficult. It's hard that you don't have anyone to turn to. I mean, of course, you've had your family, you've had your the great support in your life, and it's just, but it's still difficult, right? Again, I don't have a better word for that. But throughout your life, you were told like you couldn't do anything because of your, I mean, trade school. Say goodbye to college, but thank you, COVID, because you figured out that online is actually better. So, have you met other people in this spectrum where they also reacted better or performed better online? But also, there's a lot of these negative perceptions and a lot of negative talk around being in this spectrum. How have you continuously proven the naysayers wrong?
By doing what I'm doing right now.
Mm.
That's the only way to do so and to lessen those fears and that disrespect. You mentioned those who are lower functioning. I would say I consider myself lucky to be where I'm at, higher functioning, because there are a lot of people with autism who can't
Right,
walk, can't talk, can't
right.
even brush their teeth and put on their pants in the morning, and they end up
Hmm.
having to be taken care of for the rest of their lives. And
Right.
it's sad to see. And people concentrate on that and think they're the only ones who need help, or they ignore it completely and negatively stigmatize it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so the key to proving naysayers wrong and not letting people question you for who you are
Mm-hmm.
is doing exactly what I'm doing right now. You don't see
Mm-hmm.
many people on the autism spectrum being able
Right.
to go on these platforms and speak about their cause.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, a lot of the media has presented a negative stigma towards autism.
Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah.
to various documentaries I've
Yeah.
seen. There was one actually that really made me sick called Autism Every Day, and it focused only on those parents who struggle to raise their
Yeah.
kids,
Okay.
one complaining and saying they were drafted into having a child with autism. Which I thought, you do know there's a spectrum, right? Whoever
Mm-hmm.
made
Yeah.
that, you should have focused on that.
Mm-hmm.
That's honestly one of my goals
Yeah.
eventually, to remake that documentary, but focus on those who actually live with autism, high functioning autism to be
Exactly.
exact.
It's-
I might set up a GoFundMe soon. I don't know
Okay.
yet, but that's something I definitely want to tackle eventually, because that documentary was made in 2006. Where we are now, we have a better understanding of autism.
Mm-hmm.
We just have a lot more to do.
Precisely, and I I mean, I feel the frustration, Caden. I could feel it through here, across the globe, because, like you said, that document came out 2006, and like it doesn't even talk about people in the spectrum, and it doesn't help forward the message. We are a bit more aware, but there's a lot more work to do. We need to teach more people. We need to keep spreading this awareness. What are some of the key messages and misconceptions? Like, this is our opportunity right now, and I want to make sure that we use that platform to uh, progress that message, to spread that awareness. What would be a key message you'd love to put out there? And what is one misconception about autism that you aim to address through your activism and your writing?
The key message is just be kind to people.
Mm,
Don't make people ashamed of who they are.
right.
And if you get made ashamed of who you are, don't give those people the time of day. They're the
Yeah.
ones who
Yeah.
are going to miss out on an amazing person. And the
Mm,
biggest misconception of autism, there's two actually.
okay.
One, which is more known, autism is caused by vaccinations. It's not. It's my opinion that it's a genetics thing. Maybe the food we eat, but most likely
Great.
genetics.
Okay. Okay.
And conspiracy two is that people with autism aren't able to go to college and do all these cool things. That's also not true. In fact,
Mhm.
I'm in college myself. I'm about to be a junior next semester.
Right.
I'm living
Right.
in the dorms. Got my fourth consecutive dean's list last semester, hoping for a fit. If doing all this cool stuff, and there's a lot of people with autism who
Mhm.
made great strides in math and sciences. Isaac Newton, I always use him as the main example because
Mhm.
he was autistic, but he
Mhm.
still was able to discover gravity and teach a class. In fact, he was so obsessed with his routine, he
Mhm.
would teach empty classrooms even when the students wouldn't show up.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
That is amazing.
Einstein, he was on the autism spectrum,
Mhm.
still made scientific discoveries.
Mhm.
Friedrich Nietzsche, one of my favorite philosophers, he was on the spectrum, still
Mhm.
pioneered a branch of philosophy.
Mhm. Caden, there's been great people in the spectrum, clearly in history, that we've overlooked, and that we, you know, probably the people that you mentioned, I'm sure the greater majority aren't even aware those people were in the spectrum. And again, it's another area of awareness, or another aspect of awareness that we're trying to overcome today. You are a college student, you are a writer, you are an activist. How do you stay motivated? Because what you're doing isn't exactly easy. It's never been easy for you, Kate, and you've always had to fight for the things that you deserve and the things that you know that is supposed to come to you. Like you said, kindness. We all just have to be kind. We all just have to be aware. But the world isn't so kind, especially people who are not aware of. By the way, I'm just happy that you pointed out that it is your opinion that vaccines does not cause autism. Of course you would know, right? So it's funny because people who aren't even in the spectrum would insist, right, that you got yours from vaccinations. Of course, I mean that's another entirely different topic, but again, that's the misconception, the lack of awareness. How do you stay motivated throughout all these challenges? How do you keep going? Aiden, it's been a long battle for you.
I just have a really strong work ethic, Joss, and I'm extremely stubborn. I get it from my parents' side, my dad's side to be exact. I never give up on anything until I get the success I desire. In fact,
Wow.
in the fall
Wow.
semester last year, I he always stunk at math, and I was struggling in the math test
Hmm.
class, and I kept pushing myself to my limits because of my stubbornness and my desire
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
succeed in that class. Uh, it
Hmm.
was a harder class, calculus. It might have been algebra 2. There
Wow.
were some
Wow.
concepts that I didn't learn in high school. So looking back at it, that's probably why it was so difficult, and probably why I was stressing myself out to the point of puking.
Mm.
But I learned from that. I started working out, channeling my stress and anxiety into that. In fact, in 2023, this past year, I've really had to learn how to better take care of myself
Hmm. Wow.
mentally because I was going through a tough time because of my ego at one and my
Hmm.
desire for success at two. So I had to learn that it's okay to not have a success you desire and to not be so hard on yourself.
Hmm.
So, oh, I'm been applying that logic to what I've been doing all semester. But I
Hmm.
would say it's my strong work ethic and my stubbornness in moderation that motivates me.
Wow. I love that, Caden. I love that. I mean, what else, right? What else? Fight life because no one's going to be on your side, then you'll be on your side at the very least. At least you have your family. I love that. I love that you also got the qualities that you got, that needed to survive in this world. Kaden, give us a little bit more awareness. So teach us a little bit more education today. What's it like living life with autism? Because you are clearly high functioning. I can even see you achieving so much, almost probably the same as as the great people that you've mentioned. You are clearly capable, like you said, especially with that work ethic. And I see you and I hear you and I talk to you, and it really feels like, wow, this guy's got it together. Except he is in the spectrum. What is it like? Teach us a little bit about this so we could understand it better, and maybe people can bring themselves to be more kind to people with autism. So, what's it like living in this spectrum?
Mm, Well, like I said, there are two forms of autism. There's the
Hmm.
higher side of autism, which is where I'm at, which means you're incredibly smart, have talents in certain areas,
Hmm.
and certain
Hmm.
fascinations with things, but you're just
Hmm.
socially awkward. You insist on a certain routine.
Hmm.
Sometimes you have meltdowns. I haven't had any since I've
Hmm.
turned
Okay.
18, 19 actually,
Okay,
about to
that's
be
great.
20 in
Wow.
a couple of
Wow. Hmm.
days. So I got that under control. I don't know how, but I managed
Hmm.
but we are prone to that, just like all sides of the spectrum.
Hmm.
And the lower end of the spectrum, like I said, always temper tantrums. In some cases, some people with autism can even have seizures. So on the lower end, you can't
Whoa.
walk, can't talk, can't
Whoa.
maintain yourself, and you end up having to be taken care of for the rest of their lives. One of the
Right.
goals
Right.
of my advocacy work is to see how we can make those on the lower end of the spectrum, on the higher end of the spectrum, if there is a pill or something we can do. I want to be able to see that because I think with today's technology, we can make that possible and give
Right.
everyone a fair chance to
Right.
live their best life.
Right, that is true. That is true. I love that. I love that there's some optimism in there, and I agree that medical technology is coming to a point where, wow, I think we are going to start seeing a lot of breakthroughs in a lot of illnesses that we've seen so far that seemed hopeless. But now you are giving us hope, Caden. Even with or without these medical breakthroughs and these technologies, you're giving us hope in the sense like, yes, I mean, it- regardless of a cure or whatnot, I think the very first step is kindness, and kindness is the way to bring us all together and to, like you said, give everyone a fighting chance. And I think it really starts with kindness. How has the fight been, Caden? How do you, when you approach people, when you talk to people, is it better than it was before when you started this activism, proving in awareness, and how has it been so far?
I would say I think people are becoming more inclusive, which I
Hmm.
applaud. But
Hmm.
I think with certain aspects of that, I think there's a better approach to it.
Yes.
When instead of some of the stuff I'm seeing, which I won't say out of respect for today's PC society, politically correct
Hmm.
society,
Hmm.
I'll say the way we can improve is include people regardless. Don't put it
Hmm.
on a fancy job application. Don't put it on a fancy section. Just include people because you want to include people out of the kindness of your heart.
Hmm.
That's the end goal with all this.
And
But
there's
I think we
another.
are improving.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I do think we are improving, but
Okay.
I think there's a better approach to some of the things I'm seeing.
Right. Right. And there's also that aspect of being inclusive, but not really being knowledgeable, right? Not being educated about it. It's just like for the sake of including people, but let's just include them, but have zero idea to deal with people or to how to relate to them better, and how to make them feel welcome and all that. And again, it's another factor of being educated, being aware, being kind. Caden, where can we see this fight? Where can we join this fight with you? How do we connect with you? How do we find out more? And how do we join Caden in his awareness and his activism fight when it comes to spreading uh, knowledge about autism?
You can connect with me on Facebook at Kaden Ronald, KADINRONALD. I repost the platforms I've appeared on, and I post about any projects I have in the works. So message me there if you want to connect. Follow me on Instagram at 73 posts here, all one word. And if you want to join the fight, support an autism organization of your choice. For me, it's one of my favorite organizations here in
Okay.
Painesville, Ohio, which is where I'm at. Lake County Special Needs Birthday Club, which helps all people with special needs have really awesome Make a Wish style birthday parties.
Right.
So,
Right.
I'll be doing another fundraiser for them very soon for my birthday. We still got to figure out the date and the business, though. And go on platforms like this to spread your message, not just autism awareness, but any message you like. There's a better way to approach activism than what I'm seeing in society, and that's hopping on these platforms, going on social media, and just spreading peace, love, and positivity.
Absolutely, and of course, it's a great advocacy as well, and it's a great awareness to spread. Of course, with your generation, you called it yourself TikTok generation, but why not? Let's put a bit more content out there on TikTok, talking about the spectrum, talking about what what how to be kind to people in general, right? Not just people, not just people who. I think we all need kindness. That is the message today, but also I'm glad that you are here with us. And of course, we'll share. I wanted to share. I want to share to the audience Caden's playlist on his YouTube. He has been on a lot of shows. He's doing the work. He's putting it in there. There's a lot of uh, awareness that is being spread around. And Caden, I applaud you for resilience. I applaud you for your work ethic. It's you can see it clearly, and I'm very happy to have you on and use this as a platform to help you and to educate others as well. Kaden, one last bit of wisdom to leave behind the audience. What would it be? Take us home.
I would say spread peace, love, and positivity, and don't pay the naysayers any mind.
There you go. There you go. And Kaden, you've lived that wisdom. You've lived that, and you've shared that with us today. Thank you so much for being on the show. You know, I, I love it. I had a great time. I hope you did too.
I did as well. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. To all our audience and listeners out there, I hope you enjoyed this one, and we will see you on the next. Bye bye.
All right, so here's the thing. We try to get a little bit better every day, but we can't do it without you. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe below. And if you have any comments, just leave them in the space under.